Most students operate under a persistent academic myth, the belief that maximizing study hours is the only way to maximize learning. However, data from Harvard Medical School shows that after 4 hours of continuous study, the brain's ability to absorb new information drops by as much as 60%. This crash happens because the brain's working memory has a hard physiological limit. When you attempt to dump data past that point, the system begins to filter out new information as noise, effectively entering a biological defense mode to prevent total cognitive overload. This saturation creates the illusion of knowing. Passive reading makes you recognize the words on a page, which your brain misinterprets as mastery, a bias known as the Dunning-Kruger effect. You feel prepared because the material is familiar, but because it was never deeply encoded, your mind goes blank the moment the exam begins. Moving past the ceiling of the 12-hour grind requires a shift in strategy. To truly master a syllabus, you have to upgrade the way your biological systems process data. That upgrade begins with the input phase, using a methodology identified by researchers at MIT. Our working memory holds about 7 items at a time. Once full, additional data is rejected. Standard reading forces unorganized data into this bottleneck, causing memory loss. The MIT protocol bypasses this via chunking, grouping data into meaningful patterns processed as single units. Neuroscientists at MIT found that organizing data into these recognizable patterns can improve long-term retention by 250%. Chunking transforms the input stage, turning an overwhelmed bottleneck into a highly efficient sorting system. Inputting the data is only the first step. To ensure understanding, we look to a processing technique used by top-tier students at Harvard. Passive habits, like highlighting sentences or rereading notes, do not create comprehension. They only reinforce that dangerous feeling of recognition without actually building knowledge. The most effective students use systematic questioning. Every time they encounter a new concept, they aggressively interrogate the material, asking exactly how it works and connects. This interrogation forces the prefrontal cortex to engage. In this cross-section, the frontal lobe illuminates, shooting out synapses to link isolated facts into a rigid conceptual web. Activating these neural pathways improves conceptual understanding by 180%. Deep processing is an active pursuit. You must force the material to yield its underlying logic before it can be truly mastered. The final stage is permanent storage, an area of study led by researchers at Stanford University. Studying in silence or relying on text alone creates weak, single-channel memories that are easily lost over time. Stanford research points to dual coding theory as the solution. It proves that the human brain processes visual and auditory information through 2 completely independent pathways. The Stanford protocol involves drawing diagrams while explaining concepts out loud. Here, 2 distinct streams of data feed into a memory vault at once, doubling the brain's bandwidth. Integrating multiple sensory inputs like this improves performance by 85%. By intentionally engaging these parallel sensory pathways simultaneously, you lock information into long-term storage with much higher efficiency. Academic performance at top-tier universities is built on an optimized biological learning system rather than raw intelligence alone. The blueprint is straightforward. Input your data in chunks, process it through systematic questioning, and store via multiple sensory channels. Working within these biological limits allows you to accomplish in 2 focused hours what most people fail to achieve in 8 hours of grueling study. Abandon the marathon study session. Focus on the biological mechanics of learning, and you can systematically dominate any exam.